Hello and welcome to Creating Distribution Group Lab Scenario. So this is going to be our scenario for our distribution groups, and in here the lab is simple and it just tells us that you have to create distribution groups so that whenever you're sending announcements to all the staff and whenever you're sending emails to the departments like finance, accounting, or any other, and you also need to configure a group where you can send all the alerts from like monitoring system from your IT department, so that the IT department is aware of any ongoing issues with your network devices. So distribution group is always good because you can send emails to multiple users at the same time by using same distribution group. And in this lab scenario, it tells us that you have to create infrastructure, all staff, ops, finance, and legal. And then we are just going to do like distribution group and then dynamic distribution group and then mail enabled security group. So we will be creating 3 different security groups, and I'll explain everything about those groups to you while I'm creating those groups. So the other or the rest is going to be your homework. So make sure that you follow this lab and then you do your own lab at home. So let's get it started. I'm logged into Exchange server right now and I'm on groups. So when I go to groups, I can simply click on add button and then I got distribution group. So I'm going to name it IT for now, and then the alias can also be the IT. And one other thing that I want to tell you is if I put a space here, it is going to give me this red sign. Always make sure there's no space, symbols, or any other thing. So it is like a plain text. And then the organizational unit that I am going to create this distribution group is going to be the IT. And then the owner of this group is going to be Parviz Ilmjo. So who is the owner? The owner is the person who is going to control or is going to have full control over this distribution group. And then the members, who is going to be the members? So if I add Parviz and Jeff as a member, so whenever you send an email to IT@Ilmjo Tech, it's going to send an email to Jeff and Parviz and any other members that is added in here. So one of the other good things about the owner is that the owner got full control, and owner can also do these two things actually. So whenever a user wants to join or leave this group, do you want to make it like open? When you say open, it means that anyone can join this group without being approved. So if I am the user in your organization, I can simply say, hey, I want to join this group. Okay, the group will say, I am open, just join me, and I'll be added as a member in here. And then the closed, if I choose the closed one, what's going to happen is that all requests will be needed, like it will need an approval from the owner. So or it is what it is going to do is it is going to actually, this is for owner approval, which means that the owner Parviz Ilmjo will have to approve. But this one is closed. Closed means that the owner or the Parviz Ilmjo can only add members to this group, and if someone sends a request, it's going to reject it automatically and it's not gonna accept it because it is closed. So the other one is to leave. So if for example Jeff wants to leave this group, if I keep it open, Jeff can leave it anytime. But if I make it closed, the or the owner can only allow the Jeff to leave this group or remove it from this group. So I'll click on save. So our distribution group is now created. So when you send an email to IT@ilmjotech.local, it will send it to Parviz and Jeff. So the mailbox, oh sorry, so once again, the security group. So the purpose of mail security group is that you are using it as a distribution group, and you are also using it as a security group where you can configure permissions, like assign permissions to a folder, as well as you can use it to send emails. So you are just doing 2 different things through one security mail enabled security group. So again, it always depends on your company's policy whether you want to use separate groups for security and mail enabled group or distribution group, or you want to use one for both one doing the both job of some security and then distribution group. So it all depends on you, but security group is always good if you want to create less groups in your Active Directory or in your Exchange environment. What you can do is you can create these mail enabled security groups, and then you can assign permissions or just grant access permissions to folders or any other things that you have, as well as you can make it as a distribution group. So two things with one mail enabled security group. So ops is going to be the alias name, and I'm gonna put it to the organizational unit for IT again. Okay, and then the members are going to be the Jeff Green only. So Jeff is the only member for ops for now. Owner approval is required. So administrator is the owner. So once again, I'm gonna add Parviz as the owner, so that if someone wants to join this group, they will have to be approved through Parviz in order to do that, or Parviz can add them to the group manually. So the other group that we have is dynamic distribution group, and I'm gonna name it finance, which is FIN. So the beauty of dynamic distribution group is you do not need to add members manually. You can create set of rules. For example, you can say, for example, in here you can specify users with Exchange mailboxes and resource mailboxes can only be added to this distribution group. So you're telling this dynamic distribution group, hey distribution group, you can only add Exchange mailboxes and you can only add resources mailboxes. Other than that, you cannot add anyone else. And then your owner is going to be Parviz, and you will reside in IT department organizational unit in Active Directory. So when I say you can just add members based on rule, that means that you can create different set of rules. For example, all those users whose settings is matching the company name as Elmjo Tech can be added as a member of this group. So dynamic distribution group is going to add members automatically by matching the rules. It will go to each user's properties and see, okay, whose property is having a company name of Elmjo Tech. Oh, Jeff is having, for example, let's go to Jeff. If I go to Jeff mailbox and then I go to organization, so you see that it is Elmjo Tech. So what dynamic distribution group that we created is going to do, it's going to say, okay, I will only add Exchange mailboxes, and I will only add resource mailboxes. Other than that, I will not add anyone, and then I will only add those users as my member who is having the company name of Elmjo Tech, and then they are on organizational unit of ID department. I can remove this if you only want to have one set of rule. So that's how the distribution the value recipient container cannot be null. Okay, so I just deleted that. That's why it's giving me the error. So that's how the dynamic distribution group works. It adds the members automatically based on the rules that you have created. So I hope that you have learned the concept of these three groups. And once we have our Outlook set up, I'm just going to send an email, and you will see that who is going to receive the emails when they are a member of this group. So I hope you have learned something from this group settings that we have in Exchange Server and group creation actually. And I really thank you for watching, and I'll see you next